It's Taco Sunday. It's Taco Sunday, baby. I tell you what, things can get pretty crazy. Things can get pretty crazy out there. I hope everything's running okay for the stream. Hope you can hear me just fine. I hope the music is just perfect. My name is Dave. I'm a swing trader enthusiast, jiu-jitsu practitioner, father, and husband. And I try to do a good balance of all of those things. And one of the things that I always like to take balance is the emotions when it comes to trading. I'm happy to say I am the world's best loser. My strategy has been keeping me safe. We're still up over 50% this year on the overall portfolio, and we're going to continue to stick to those rules. What is going on, guys? It is good to see you. What's going on, my G? Jimmy Bright first and foremost. What's going on, dude? Good to see you, Zamora. Do you know what happened with the crypto last Friday? Yeah, actually, we'll go over that in just a second, man. Pretty crazy. What's up, Carl Burr? I think maybe your taco Sunday fits right in with today's show for sure. Guys, we hit some people are calling it a crash, a flash crash, a blah, 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 blah. If we measure this, we're down, we went as low, I think we even went a little lower than this, but not even 5%. Like, it's not a crash, it's a correction. But you know, it's all based on these tweets. You know, he gets a little excited. He starts tweeting, he starts saying this, he starts saying that, and people start to panic. The bots get turned on, and this is the kind of crap that happens. But I will have to say, and I am bragging a little bit when I say this, but even though I lost 6% this day, all my stops were hit, and I could have lost a hell of a lot more. Let's get today's day, let's get the show on the road. Let's skip it all. Let's get the show on the road. Norman Conklin is in the building. What's going on, brother? It's good to see ya. Torqued up, zing, zing. We got a little bit to go over and a lot to do, so let's just jump right into it. What is going on? What's with this pullback? You know, we measure something like this, and we're seeing, let's just call it a 4% correction, and people are freaking out. You know, I've seen a lot of bears, told you so, things are blah, 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 blah. Well, if we just back off and we act like we didn't get stopped out of all of our trades and we're just looking at this chart, the very first thing I see is support right here at 6,500. Now, this is your S&P 500, your E-mini futures. So we're seeing ahead of time right here. Right now, we are actually seeing the market starting to pop back up here. Now, I pulled an anchored VWAP from the all-time high, and you can see we have some resistance there. And of course, we have this resistance right here at 6,700, we'll just call it. And I can even mark that out, but regardless, there is an area of resistance here, and it is the anchored VWAP from all-time high. Now, I know you guys love that anchored VWAP out there. Well, they're anchored VWAP from the previous all-time low. Before we capitulated and started to head higher, we created these 3 new higher lows and made this base here. This anchored VWAP off that low is running right into this area of support. So I have 2 ideas here, I have 2 ideas, yes, and they involve going up or down. If we ever get a lot of fear in the market, we obviously could head much, much lower. And a lot of times when you see these major pullbacks, you're not going to see them go straight down. Somebody's going to come in and buy it up because they like these revert to the mean trades, these oversold trades, and it pops back up. Now, a lot of people are saying it's a taco trade. This thing's going to go straight back up, and it very well could. We have seen it happen with all of this tariff tantrum that we had back here. Things were very scary. They pulled back very fast, and then they got bought right back up and headed much, much higher. But for me, with my strategy, I keep things very, very simple. If we're below a 21-day moving average, like we have been before, this was the only day that I was risk off, and now I am also risk off. So will I be risk back on tomorrow? That is the question. And the only thing we can do, well, for me, is wait and see. You got to stay relaxed in these situations. My stop stopped me out and it kept me safe. I could have lost a lot more money. And sure, some people might say, well, if you would have just held, you know, we might, in hindsight, next week when we're talking on Sunday, like we always do, we might say, hey man, that, you know, that sucks. But my trades have been keeping me making money constantly, consistently, that I don't care when these things happen and they stop me out and it goes right back up. That's showing me that the price action's strong. If it can get back up here, make new all-time highs, pull back and retest an area of support. When something like this happens, I have to follow my rules. No matter what, I do not care. And I'm going to stay out of the market until we're back above this 21-day moving average. Now, what has happened here? Well, I can make it very, very simple for you. And absolutely, my G, it's part of the game. Well, Trump had a nice little tweet, and it says that he will impose new 100% tariffs on China over and above current rates, massively escalating the trade war. And when I seen this, you know, at first it's just like, okay, we're going to get a small pullback or minor correction, you know, pull back to the 10 or 21 day. I mean, the market ripped as low as below the 50-day moving average. And to me, that's, you know, that's pretty important. So, you know, people didn't take this lightly, and everybody started calling, I read it on Twitter, you know, a taco trade, that he's just going to chicken out again. That's what a taco is, TACO. Trump always chickens out. And within, I think it was a day or 2 days, was it? I think a day. Look at stock futures rise after Trump hints at backing off from new China tariffs. So sure as you know what, he says one thing and then he does another. I think it was Torqued. Yeah, my boy Torque posted this in our Discord, and, and Trump walks in. He's like, "Are you winning, son?" And Barron's here. "Yeah, Dad, thanks for the tariffs." And he's just making buco bucks. I mean, there's a lot to it, folks. I mean, the manipulation at its finest, absolutely. And this man's playing the game, or whatever it is. You got to take responsibilities for your own actions. If you lost a lot of money, you know, it sucks. It sucks if you lost money, but you got to understand, if you're on margin, if you're over leveraged, if you're using 3x stocks on margin, this is the kind of stuff that happens, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I was so head over heels on PLTR. I can just bring it up right here for you. I wanted to add and add and add, and I loved how tight this was getting, and it was holding off so well. After all of this, after this V-shaped bottom, and the reason why I'm looking at this, folks, is because this is showing you what's happened after hours. We're actually sitting at almost 180 here on PLTR, which 180 puts us right there above the 10-day moving average. It's still tight, it's still looking good. It's still held a lot of that pullback, and I'm going to show you quite a few stocks that are looking exactly like that. My beefiest of stew, what's going on, brother? I'm glad to hear that the family is doing a hell of a lot better, and the fact that your son has a night ride. Is it a night ride on Halloween, or is it just during Halloween during the day? Either way, dude, it's pretty sweet stuff, man. It's good to see you. What's going on, Jolene? Good to see you. Libby Franchuk, what's going on? It's good to see you. We got the whole squad. And Jack, what's going on? Jack Lichwa, are you the Jack newbie in our Discord? If you are, hello, hello. It's good to see you. Go ahead and hit that like and subscribe for me, guys. And if you haven't already, make sure you vote on the poll. We got 13 votes. The question is, are you risk on or are you risk off? Right now, I am risk off because we're below a 21-day moving average, but I'm very aware of the taco trade. I think it's a great idea. It's just not part of my strategy or rules. It's almost like, you know, I sold after the tweet. Now I got to buy back up after he tweets again. I'm not playing those games. I'm going to use the overall price action. Good, Jack. Jackie, whichever one you go, or Jack. It's Jack newbie. Okay. All right, Jack. It's good to see you, man. Thanks for being a part of this. All right, so we're going to go over, I created a watch list for you, and we could go over a lot of everything. The few things I want to point out, yes, Bitcoin, V-shaped bottom here, big soak up off the bottom. We could talk about BlackRock buying them up after all of this crap happened. It's what happens, folks. It's what happens. The big dogs are buying it up, and things are still looking semi-strong. After a big pullback like that, though, we're going to see where the old stock market's going to take us. But with the ES looking like this, we want to see what is relatively strong in the overall market during that correction. And I have that for you right here. Threw together a little bit of a list. It's got a little bit of everything in here, and I have not refined it, but some of these trades are looking magnifico. So let's just go through these, and I will put them up on this chart here. It's gonna be a little different for us today, but that way we can see exactly where they're at in the pre-market and the after hours, okay? So let's start with USAR. So USAR, well above that 10-day moving average, holding up very, very well. It's probably one of the best looking stocks that are out there. And of course, it's in that US rare earth. That rare earth is very important. China's investing in it, America's investing in it. I think it's very important that you keep this on your watch list, and I know a lot of you have. Hand in hand is that MP. I know Night Owl in our Discord was head over heels about this, and so was I. Actually missed this trade on this pop up through this basing breakout. If you guys see this basing breakout, it's really simple. A beautiful basing breakout. This was my original want to take right here, is that 73.50 area after it breaks this high here. Well, now it's trading right back up at that basing area. So this MP looks extremely strong. It held up. One of the best holding up there is that MP. So if you don't have MP on your watch list, I think it's very, very important for you to have a few of those rare earth and metals like USAR and MP. So keep those on your watch list. Let's take a look at VSAT. Now I've had this one on my ready list for quite some time. This VSAT still holding up very well. Like I was saying in the Discord, anything above that 10-day moving average, if it's holding up there after such a major pullback, it's a good sign that if we do have the taco trade and we do get a reversal and the overall S&P 500 continues to climb higher after that, then we'll see these stocks that have held the majority of the losses continue to climb higher. So that's the thought process there. So make sure you keep that in mind. And guys, you can throw them out in the chat right now if you want to. I got a lot to go over, but if you throw them up in the chat, we can look at them as we go. I want to make sure we get to everybody, and I don't want to waste your time. So throw them up in the chat. I got a little bit of everything. RGTI. Now, this was very important. If you guys look at what happened to RGTI and some of the other quantum computing, still holding as if you were just looking at RGTI, if you were just looking at this stock, and it opened up Monday at 46.18, right here near all-time highs, you would have had no idea there was anything in the world going on to disrupt the overall market if you were just looking at RGTI. And that's very important when you're looking at something like this. When you're looking at stocks like this, you want to see what is relatively strong in the overall market. And if we look at RGTI on a relative market standpoint, its RS rating is 99. Okay, so very strong, very, very strong. Carl Burr says HIMS. What's going on, Carl Burr, baby? HIMS is looking really good here too as well. Above a 21-day moving average, just under a curling lower 10-day moving average. But what do we love about HIMS in this area right here, this basing breakout at this $60 looks exceptional, and we know that we are starting to get some rotation into healthcare. So HIMS is looking very fine here. Just trying to hold those lows. It's got a nice trend right off this 50-day moving average. I don't like that 50 starting to curl down here, but this trend is still intact. It's still holding out very well. And if it can get above that $60 area, I think that is certainly a basing breakout that we want to keep an eye on. Let me just look on the overall relative strength index here to see how well it held up without using just my eye. Yeah, 98. So that's definitely going on the hot list. So thank you for that one, Carl. Jolene says she likes MP at 79.42. Let's see, it's pretty exact. Can't say 79.50, girl. Come on now. Well, it's at 83.40, so keep that in mind, Jolene. Let's see, so 79, yeah, absolutely. So that's the basing breakout area, yeah, that's the basing breakout area. It's actually above all of that right now, Jolene. So this could be one of those trades. Like if you were risk on in this situation, which honestly, it gets me a little excited, but no fear of missing out, right? In the morning, if this is all working out, you could take an opening range breakout on a trade like this. That could work out because you have a basing breakout. You have a lot of people coming into the market. It's going to be spectacular on Monday. I can assure you we are going to have a lot of volatility. This could be one trade. This could be one idea for sure. Let's see. We got QBTS, another quantum. So QBTS held up very, very well, still above the 10-day moving average. You guys are starting to see a couple of quantum stocks still holding up very, very well, with the overall majority of stocks pulling back. So keep that in mind. We also have Oklo, which is in your nuclear sector. Oklo, this one I was looking at earlier, this thing barely pulled back. I mean, it pulled back basically to its base right here at 142.27, bounced, and now is continuing higher. I think Oklo is definitely one you need to keep on your watch list. I think this is probably one of the strongest stocks out there. So if you don't have it on your watch list already, which I'm sure you do, definitely put it on there. Now, there's going to be a few other nuclear stocks in this, but I think Oklo is probably one of the best ones that are holding out. You guys remember Galaxy? Torque actually talked about this Galaxy a while back. He liked keeping an eye on it. And look at this basing breakout, that $35 area. I think I talked about this one in our Discord. I did not take it, but you can see this thing held out very, very well, still above a 10-day moving average. Just something I wanted to point out, as well as on the 21st, it does have earnings, so do keep an eye on that one. Let's see. ASTS. Jolene, I know you like this ASTS. She's made some money off this before. I think I did too, way back here off this basing area. I think we were making some money off this. But this thing holding out very, very well. Look at just stretched, I mean, extended from its 10-day moving average. Another one, RKLB, in that same type of sector. You guys remember I called out this Rocket Lab here right at that 50-day moving average, getting really, really tight, made quite a bit of money off this. Of course, I wanted to take more. We were up like 38%. Yeah, 38%, took half on that Trump, the tariff tantrum once again. I just sold everything. Once we were below a 21-day moving average, and I know some of you are gonna kick me in my ass for not trailing a stop on something like this, but I had very, very minimal shares in this. It wasn't even worth the headache of even holding. I didn't even want to sell half, and I'm glad I did. Just gotta follow my rules, you know, but did not have nearly as many shares or conviction in this trade than I should have. So yeah, that's Rock Lab, ASTS. Let's look at a couple of these. So Riot is actually holding off very well as the market got a little scared with the Trump tweets. You can see that this big, beautiful base is holding off very, very nicely. You can see every time it comes up to this area, this $18 area, and this $15 to $18 area, now sitting at $21.67. This is still holding up very, very nice. So this could have been the perfect dip buy to that 10-day moving average. Just another one to keep an eye on. Around that same sector, you have WULF, and I know a lot of us have been talking about this one. This thing is still extended, in my opinion, from its 10-day moving average. So it's nice to see that. Very, very strong with the overall market pulling back. Wolf is still holding up, extended from its 10-day moving average. Let me get a sip here. All right, we got 13 votes. 38% of you say risk on. This is a taco trade. 23% say that you are risk off and you don't know, you don't like what's going on. The other 38% of you say, I don't know what to think. And that's totally fine. It's totally fine if you don't know what to think. Just if you have lost money in this situation and you're hurt and you're having a hard time coming back from this, don't ever allow yourself to get head over heels. Always know your max loss, like your biggest risk. So if you own 4 stocks, you know, and your stops on each of those is X amount, you add that amount up. And that way, if you wake up the next day or that day you're in the middle of a job and you look at your phone and you're not holding any stocks because it hit all your stop losses, you're not afraid to see that you lost 2 grand or 10 grand or 100 grand, depending on the size of your trading account, because you have already imagined yourself losing that before you got into the trade. Of course, it never feels good to lose money, but it feels a lot better when you have already imagined the loss happening. So I really try to do that before I enter any trade. Libby says, I'm watching BE and still liking NVIDIA. You know, let's take a look at NVIDIA really quick. And then, of course, BE. BE is absolutely killing it. Absolutely killing it. So NVIDIA has popped right back up here above that basing breakout area, which is just, woo, crazy, crazy, crazy. Wow. Absolutely amazing to see that. Big pullback here. You can see off these highs, NVIDIA failed as low into the after hours as 8%, almost 9% there. And now we have bounced back up off those lows, roughly 5.5%. So will this thing keep climbing? I have to say NVIDIA is in a very, very good position as it's above all of this trading area. That's very important to know that you're above all this trading area. Let me blow this up a little bit. See this? You could call this a Darvis box, if you will, where you just take the highs and you take the lows here, okay? We'll just draw this out for you. You take the highs and you take the lows, and as long as the trading is above this Darvis box, you're still in the trade. If it doesn't go below this, then you're still in the excuse me. Above this, we're good. In here, you know, we don't want to get below these 3 new higher lows, right? We don't want to get below that. We don't want to break this trend, but this is your Darvis box. This is where you're adding, and then if it breaks below this, this is where you're exiting out of the majority of your shades. Now, I don't use the Darvis boxes. I do like the trend and basing breakouts. I did take this trade. I did not make any money in this trade. And I had the majority of my conviction in this trade. So it does hurt to see it back above this basing breakout area, following its trend still. I just, you know, I gotta follow my rules. It hurts sometimes. You're welcome, Jack Newbie. It's good to see you. Learn from this event for sure. I have a new trading rule now. Libby, do you mind letting us know what that new trading rule is? And speaking of leaders, BE, this is a chart you got to see. Look how beautiful and tight this thing got. If we bring this thing back up, you can see it's trading above its previous day, just right up there, right back up there at that base, guys. BE is an absolute beast, so keep that on your watch list for tomorrow morning. They do have earnings on the 28th, so a couple more weeks, so just keep that in mind. What's up, Robert Tanch is in the building. What's going on, man? Let's see, what else we got for you? Oh, yeah, Path. So I know Jolene was playing with this trade for a little bit. Guys, this is the relative strength that you want to see. Huge push up, and it didn't give much of that ghost back. I don't have a trade on this yet. It needs to trade sideways, show me a base or a trend breakout. But this thing really got to popping on higher volume. So one I want to keep an eye on. INTC, I just want to check in on this because this was where America was, or the US was taking trade in, investing in, excuse me. And you can see that's still above that 10-day moving average. And I know Jolene is still holding on to this stock, so congratulations to you. This is a longer term hold for her. But yeah, this thing is looking really good. Another one still above that 10-day moving average with earnings just around the corner, so in just about 2 weeks here. Oh yeah, I know BBAI is another one that was brought up by Night Owl and I think a few others. This thing was holding up pretty nice. It's trending very well. You can see the very clear trend from low to high or from low to high. It's just trending very nice. And then it hit those new all-time highs and sold off really hard there, but just still holding above the 10-day moving average. So that BBAI is looking very, very good. Now, you know, if we really want to go down, you know, the rabbit hole of BBAI and what you should or shouldn't hold, you know, you can do whatever you want. Price action is king, but if we look at just the numbers here, you know, you can see BBAI isn't making that over 20, over 30% year over year or quarter over quarter growth for that matter. So just keep that in mind. Know what you are getting invested into. Know if it's a longer term, a swing trade or a day trade, depending on the stock and how you trade yourself. What else we got? Oh yeah, another nuclear name, LEU. Is this the same nuclear name? Yeah, I believe it is. So this here is absolutely looking a darling. Another one above the 10-day moving average, still trending very beautifully. You know, and you guys can see quantum computing and nuclear has not taken a back seat on this. Their relative strength is strong. And if you look at gold futures, you can see here, gold is, did it hit new all-time? It was so close to hitting a new all-time high in the pre-market there. So gold is still doing really, really well. So pick your favorite gold stock. You know, you got SAND and NUGT. You got IAG. Yeah, there's plenty. Silver's looking good as well still. So let's take a look at PL. That was another one of those episodic pivots off this earnings day. I didn't really consider this episodic pivot, but we got a buddy Danny who trades them all the time. He considered this an episodic pivot, and I'm not going to really disagree with the man. He's been doing it longer than I have when it comes to episodic pivots. So here we are. I call this a trend breakout or an earnings continuation play in my book, and it's doing really, really well. Still holding above that 10-day moving average, still trending very, very nicely. Definitely something that I'm going to continue to watch. Let's do a couple more. I haven't talked about this one, APLD, in a while. APLD, nice gap up and not giving up a lot of the GOAT. You can see here still extended from that 10-day moving average, still doing very, very well after that earnings call right here. It wasn't really a win. They just didn't lose as much money as they had intended, but still APLD, you know, you can't really argue with this. Libby Franchuk says her new rule: never try a new strategy on a day I cannot easily check how it's playing out. Long story short, I tried a different stop loss from my usual trailing percentage and it didn't go well. Totally understandable, Libby. It is tough, and especially too, if you're trying a new strategy out, the best thing to do is to do it on much, much smaller share size, even though it's not as fun, and to actually write it down, like have something written down. So if you're playing double bottoms, every time you write down a double bottom, write down the ticker, the day you took it, why you took it, you know, and then you can just put a mark next to it. Did it work out or didn't work out? And now every time you play a double bottom, you can put it right on your sheet if it worked out or it didn't work out. And then from there, you can see what's working in each market environment and what's working for you. Eventually, you're going to calibrate something to get it perfect, absolutely perfect for you. So it's good for you. I'm glad that you're trying new strategies. Just always remember, guys, if you're starting a new strategy, you should at least stick with it for 100 trades. 100 trades. Collect your data, see if it's right for you. If not, you carry on. Carry on, my wayward son. Let's see what else we got. BETR. Another beautiful stock. You like this setup? I thought you might. Still holding right above that 10-day moving average. BETR. Oh, let's see what is this thing looking like? So this is finance, real estate, lending. Yeah, the earnings just, well, actually, no, I take that back. If we look at the earnings here on BETR, you can see we have 20 and 40% earnings growth. So that's a good sign right there. That's what we want to see. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice little alert right here at this basing breakout. I like stocks like this. You get a big push up on volume. It holds, it follows a 10-day or rides a 10-day moving average, as Christian Quilamagi says. It's also a newer IPO, and its IPO all-time high was 99. Look where the stock hit the last time, not giving up too much of that. So you can see it moved up 100%, pulled back 50%, yada, yada, yada. The rest is told. So if this thing can start to break out again, get above that $100 area, it's blue skies, baby, for this stock, as it is showing that EPS and sales growth that I like to see. So I do have my alert on it, but if we're not above a 21-day moving average for the ES, then I will not be in it. All right, guys, let me know what you want me to take a peeky gander up here on your big screen. I want to know right meow. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll right now. 43% say that you are risk on and 21% are risk off. The other 36% of you say that you don't know what to think, and that is totally fine. I really don't know what to think either, although this does happen, right? We do know Trump likes to make these outlandish sayings, and then he chickens out right afterwards. That's totally fine. That's what happens. That's just this market, right? We're going to be talking about this for years to come, but regardless, I have my rules. We're about above this 21-day moving average, and once we are, I will consider being right to back to ring risk back on, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt taking that first trade. It's going to suck if we get stopped out on it and we start to pull back. Regardless, I am going to stay very, very vigilant, very, very focused on what is going on in this market this coming week, but I am currently risk off. We'll see where the overall market opens up in the morning. All right, that's about all I got. I know you guys all have your stock watch list. You got a lot of different things going on. For me, I'm gonna sit back, relax, and enjoy my time being risk off, because guys, I have only been risk off for 1 day since I called the power trend out somewhere in this area. We have been kicking ass and taking name, making plenty of money all the way through this secular bull run. Will it continue? That is the question. We're gonna see if old Trump is gonna keep on smashing tacos our way, but either way, this to me is a basing breakout, and it continued. We had a, what did I say this? Well, what type of correction was this? There's a 4% correction, and then we just bounced right back up. We're right underneath that anchored VWAP right there, so it's definitely something that we need to take heed. We need to understand that there is resistance here, but I've seen it time and time again where that resistance gets ate right on through and it continues much, much higher. So, what up? Muley, what's going on? PPTA, let me look at it on the other stock here, or the other charting platform. Yeah, PPTA is gapping up too. So that's very, very interesting. What is this sector in? So they don't have any sales growth. That's my only issue, but this is a precious metal stock. The average volume is about 3 million. The market cap's 2.77 billion, and this thing moves 6.79% in a day. I don't see a trade setup on this, primarily no base or trend breakout, but I will say this, it's a very, very strong stock right now because of the rare earth precious metals are climbing much, much higher. So in the after hours, you can see here, it just ripped up even higher to 31.15, now trading at 28.69. So yeah, PPTA is definitely one you might want to keep on your watch list. NASDAQ is risk on. I'm not sure what you're asking. Sorry. So this is the ES1 ES, the S&P 500 E-mini futures. This is your S&P 500. So I use the S&P 500. If you look at the NASDAQ here, yes, I see what you're saying. The NASDAQ is risk on. Yeah, and you know what? You could use this as your risk on, risk off scenario, as it has been the leading ETF, and you could very well use this. You absolutely could. I usually use this S&P 500. 9 times out of 10, I am using it. And you know, it doesn't look like it's going to be much time, and I'm going to be risk back on. But I want to see how this reacts tomorrow. You know, I want to see how this reacts and see how the price action. Because right now, the price action is just showing a huge pullback a big bounce back up. If we can get some consolidation, show new higher lows, and get above that 21-day moving average, I will be a lot more comfortable taking a trade. But right now, personally, if I take a trade on this tomorrow, you know, I get all excited, I take it on it tomorrow. We had this big pullback right here, big pullback, and then like a rubber band, it snaps back up. I'm personally waiting to see for it to come back down, hold a new higher low, or even come back down to here, hold a new higher low, and then come back up as we slowly climb back higher, and then show another base or a trend breakout that we can feel. I just want to feel a little bit more comfortable getting into this, because right now we're just chopping. You know, we're chopping. We chop down, we're chopping back up. You know, let's see some consistency, you know, like this. Nice and easy, gradual rise where we can take a trade off of this base here. You know, big pullback, starting to get some love, It pops up here, it pulls back, but holds a new higher low, you know, and then we start to break out of this base here. And multiple times you can see I've done this. After this tariff tantrum, we waited. This basing breakout was true. We identified the power trend in this, somewhere in this area. And yeah, we waited for the right time, and we made plenty of money doing it. So for me, yeah, we're very close to being risk on. If you want to use the NASDAQ, you absolutely can. But for me, I use the S&P 500, and that's just, you know, everybody trades different. Everybody does something different. But for me, I'm risk off. Good, Jack, I'm glad I can answer that question. If you guys ain't got anything for me, I'm gonna peace on out of here. I'm ready to get some sleep. I had a long day. Jiu-jitsu, baby. Jiu-jitsu, I got beat up. We'll see you guys next Sunday. Absolutely love y'all for being here. Thank you so very much. And remember, risk management is key. I tell you guys that every morning before the trading market opens. And these are the reason why people say, oh, you don't need to use a stop loss. You don't need this, you don't need that. Today is, or yesterday, or Friday was the day why you need to use stop losses. It rips down, it rips your face off, you capitulate at the bottom. Just know where your stops are. And if you think, oh, well, you know, I wish I would have held through all of this. One of these times, you know, let's say in hindsight next week, one of these times, it's going to continue to pull back, right? It's going to continue to pull back. The dip's going to keep on dipping like you've seen here, you know, and then we waited for the new higher lows. We waited for the first basing breakout, waited for the power trend, and then we let it carry on. Something like this is a nice correction, nothing too crazy, but we are still waiting patiently. Norman Conklin, you're very much. Good night, Jimmy Bright. You know I love you guys. Thank you so much, Norman, for being a long time standing member. We will see you guys next Sunday. I promise you, this week's going to be a doozy. Jag Newbie, thank you for showing up tonight. I appreciate you. Norman Conklin, you're the man. You are the man, brother. Thank you so much for being here. Libby, thank you. I appreciate you, man. I shouldn't say man, miss. Jimmy Bright, thank you so much for your continued support to this show. Muley, what's going on, bro? It's good to see you. Thank you so much for bringing that PPTA. Robert Tainch, always here every Sunday. Thank you for being here. Carl Burr, bringing us the good. Jolene, as always, in the beefiest of stews, torqued up in the building in my G. We had the whole crew tonight, baby. Zamora, Yosef, did I even see you guys? Oh my gosh, I hope you're still here at the end so you could hear me. Thank you so much. Appreciate everybody. Hope you have a good week.